Welcome to the Cannabis Compliance Board's webinar on preparing to apply for a cannabis consumption lounge license. The goal of this video is to help prepare applicants to submit an accurate and complete application for a cannabis consumption lounge license. In this video, we will cover how to prepare for the cannabis consumption lounge application, which involves registering your business with the state of Nevada, applying for agent cards, gathering information from all owners, officers, and board members, and creating a diversity plan. We will also go over acceptable payment methods for the processing fee. Finally, we will give you information on how to contact the CCB for any questions and where to find additional resources. The first step in preparing to apply for a cannabis consumption lounge is applying for a Nevada State business license. Per NRS 678B, all applicants must provide the legal name of the proposed cannabis consumption lounge filed with the Nevada Secretary of State's office when applying for their agent cards. Prior to filling out your application, you must file articles of incorporation or other formation documents with the Nevada Secretary of State's office. If you need assistance in applying for a business license, the Lieutenant Governor's office houses the Office of Small Business Advocacy that can help you with this process. To register your business entity and receive guidance on how to form your business, you can visit nvsilverflume.gov, or you can visit the Nevada Secretary of State's website at nvsos.gov. To learn more about the Office of Small Business Advocacy, visit ltgov.nv.gov/osba/home. Please note, the legal name of the proposed cannabis consumption lounge on your application must match as it appears on the business license filed with the Nevada Secretary of State's office. When preparing to apply, you should also research local ordinances regarding cannabis establishments in the jurisdiction in which you wish to apply, as local jurisdictions may limit or prohibit cannabis consumption lounges. At the time of application, you will not need a specific street address, but you will need to identify the local jurisdiction in which you're applying for. The jurisdiction you choose cannot be changed once your application is submitted. The next step in preparing for the application period is ensuring that each owner, officer, and board member of the business, sometimes referred to as a OOB, submits an application for a cannabis consumption lounge agent card. Keep in mind that each cannabis establishment type has their own agent cards. You cannot use your agent card numbers for any other establishment type. All owners, officers, and board members must apply for a cannabis consumption lounge agent card. When filling out the application, you will be required to input each owner, officer, and board member's agent card record number. This means that agent card applications must be done first to generate the agent card record number to enter into the consumption lounge application. Since the open period to submit a consumption lounge application is specific and limited, we suggest that applicants begin the agent card process as soon as possible. However, please note that you cannot apply for a cannabis consumption lounge agent card until 30 days prior to the consumption lounge application period. When applying for an agent card, the applicant must have the necessary personal and demographic information presented on the slide, including the applicant's name, date of birth, percentage of ownership in the business, citizenship status, and other identifying information. In addition to the identifying information discussed in the previous slide, applicants must also verify that they are at least 21 years old, have not been convicted of a felony offense defined in NRS 678B.050, are compliant with court orders for child support, if applicable. They must also provide the number for any agent card they already possess and cannot have had an agent registration card revoked. Additionally, they must pledge not to dispense or divert cannabis to any person not authorized to possess cannabis. For a complete list of information required for the agent card application, please visit the CCB website at ccb.nv.gov. The agent card application also requires a color photo of the person's government-issued ID and a passport quality photo. For the passport quality photo, the image should be a clear photo of the face with no obstructions, in good lighting, against a plain white background. No headwear can be worn, including anything that obstructs the hairline, with the exception of religious head coverings. For additional guidance on photo requirements, see the CCB's website for guidance on cannabis agent registration card photo requirements. If you are watching this on YouTube, you can find a link in the video description. To apply for agent cards, please access the Acela Cannabis customer portal using the following URL: aca-prod.accela.com/nvccb/, or you can find a direct link at ccb.nv.gov under the Industry Login button in the top right corner of the website. After you've created an account and logged in, follow the step-by-step instructions for agent cards. The CCB offers a more in-depth workshop on how to apply for an agent card on our website. If you're viewing this video on YouTube, you can find a link to that resource in the description. Once you have completed the agent card application, you will get a confirmation screen with your record submission number. This record number will also be emailed to you separately. Be sure to retain this number for your records. Once you've submitted your agent card application, you will receive a confirmation email. In the email, you will find your record submission number in the body of the email, as well as in the subject line. You will need this number to fill out your Consumption Lounge application, so please retain it for your records. Agent card applicants are required to have their fingerprints taken by an authorized fingerprint agency. In your agent card application confirmation email, you will also receive a hyperlink for instructions on how to fulfill the fingerprint requirement. An important note is that for the Consumption Lounge application, payment for agent card fees will not be required unless your Consumption Lounge application is selected for a prospective license. However, you must submit and pay for your fingerprints as instructed by the form linked in the agent card confirmation email in order to complete your agent card application. During the application process, you will need to input identifying information for all proposed owner, officers, and board members, including all owners, officers, and board members of any intermediary company in the ownership structure. On the following slides, we will discuss the information in depth. You can also find a useful tracking tool on our Preparing to Apply worksheet, which is linked on our website and in the video description below. For each proposed owner, officer, and board member, you will need their name, including first, middle, and last name. If they do not have a middle name, you can enter NMN, which stands for no middle name. Next, you will need the address on their government-issued ID. This address should match the address on the government-issued ID they uploaded into their agent card application. You will need the full address, including city, state, and zip code. Next, you'll need their date of birth and the last 4 digits of their social security number. If they do not have a social security number, you will enter the last 4 digits of their tax ID number. For each owner, officer, and board member, you'll also need their Consumption Lounge agent card application record number. A person can hold multiple types of agent cards, so be sure you're using their Consumption Lounge number. Next, you'll select the role the person plays in your business. You have the option to check if they are an owner, officer, or board member. Check all that apply. You will also be asked to indicate whether the person has ownership in another cannabis establishment in Nevada. If they do, they must provide you with the Cannabis Establishment ID number. Please note, if any application has an owner who owns 5% or greater interest in any entity within the ownership organization chart, and that owner is also on any other application listed as an owner who owns 5% or greater interest in any entity within the ownership structure, all such applications will be removed from consideration. Finally, you will need to indicate if the person qualifies as a social equity applicant, which we will review in the next slide. To qualify as a social equity applicant, a person must have lived in a disproportionately impacted area for no less than the previous 5 years. They or a close family member must have been convicted of a cannabis-related offense. However, if an applicant has 2 or more felonies or a Category A felony as defined by Nevada Revised Statute 678B.050, they are ineligible to apply. Finally, they must either individually own equal to or in excess of 51% in the cannabis consumption lounge, or their combined ownership with other social equity applicants equals to or exceeds 51%. To learn more about this information, including what qualifies as an approved disproportionately impacted area, please visit the CCB website for a webinar and worksheets on how to determine social equity eligibility. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can find a link to these resources in the video description below. To promote the meaningful inclusion of diverse groups, eligibility for a consumption lounge license, regardless of license type, requires a diversity plan. The applicant must affirm that they will implement a diversity plan, and the diversity plan must be uploaded into the application. The diversity plan should include, but is not limited to, objectives, timetables, actionable steps, and evaluation metrics to show the applicant's commitment to diversity. The CCB has provided guidance, including worksheets and a webinar, to help with developing a diversity plan that complies with requirements. These materials can be found on the CCB website. If you are watching this on YouTube, you can find links in the description below. To successfully submit your consumption lounge application, payment of the processing fee will be required. The CCB will accept ACH payments, cashier's checks, or money orders. The processing fees are $100,000 for retail, $10,000 for non-social equity independents, and $2,500 for social equity applicants. Remember that processing fees are non-refundable. Failure to pay your processing fee by the deadline will result in your application being rejected. All dates will be posted on ccb.nv.gov 30 days in advance of the application period opening. Electronic ACH payments are made online through the Consumption Lounge application. A seller will redirect the applicant to CyberSource, where they will complete their ACH transaction. A payment authorization will be sent from support@cybersource.com. Payment must be completed no later than 5 p.m. Pacific Time on the final date of the open application period. If you are paying via ACH, have your banking information available, including your bank account number and routing number. To pay by cashier's check or money order, you will need to present the payment in person at CCB's offices in either Carson City or Las Vegas, no later than 5 p.m. on the day of the application deadline. The payment must clear for your application to move forward. Payment via mail or any other form of commercial delivery service, such as FedEx, UPS, or DHL, will not be accepted. Cash, personal checks, or business checks will not be accepted as payment. Remember, all payments must be presented either online or in person, and payment via commercial delivery service will not be accepted. Again, as a reminder, payment in any form failing to clear is an incomplete application. In addition to this webinar, the CCB also offers a variety of educational webinars, worksheets, and application checklists. To access these materials and learn more about the CCB, visit ccb.nv.gov. We also have a frequently asked questions page to help answer any questions you may have. You can also access other educational webinars and view past board meetings or subcommittee meetings on the CCB's YouTube page at youtube.com/c/CCB State of Nevada, all one word. If you have any additional questions that may not have been covered in this webinar, please email ccbconsumptionlounge@ccb.nv.gov.